Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. The biggest story in the news today, the biggest, is undoubtedly the Uranium One story. It should be soaking up all the atmosphere. And there's just no doubt that this involves corruption in our government at the highest level during the time of Barack Obama. Robert Mueller, who's investigating Donald Trump and his satellites, if you will, on supposed corruption in the deal with the Russians, has no reason to be involved in this, none whatsoever. In fact, he should recuse himself because he was a person who was involved in the Uranium One deal at the time. Everything leads back to the Clintons, the Obama administration, and all of the crooks within. James Comey, you name it. We should be consumed with this as a nation. The media should be all over this. I'll ask you this. If any of this involved Donald Trump, what level of coverage do you think it would be getting? 3 major networks did not even mention the Uranium One coverage of the coverage of this story. The 3 major networks. It's anecdotal at best on the left. Huge. Look, folks, I'm not, we compare stuff to Watergate and all these other things. This is big. These are people who got $145 million went back to the Crooked Clinton Foundation from the Russians as this deal is going down. Hillary Clinton is Secretary of State. Bill Clinton's negotiating it, setting up private meetings, giving speeches in Russia, and they can't find any connection between the Democrats and Russia. But Paul Manafort maybe did a deal with the Ukraine. It's with Ukraine at some point, and suddenly, that's tied to it's to the level of unbelievability when it comes to discussing these clowns on the left. It boggles the mind. I mean, how much more information do you need? They've reopened an investigation of Podesta. They need to reopen an investigation into the Clinton administration, and hopefully Sessions will do this. But we're at a point in this country where you can't even get the absolute honest truth out because somebody on the left is fighting you. This Frederica Wilson thing is nothing more than a distraction from what should be talked about. The NFL kneeling thing is nothing more than a distraction than from what we should be talking about. And I'll tell you something else. The other thing they don't want you to hear is they don't want you to hear about how Donald Trump's doing in the market, the economy. Look, here's the good news. The good news is no matter what these clowns do, the truth is out there. People are sick of it. I said in the previous segment, they use racist, they use homophobe, they use misogynist to the point where it has no meaning anymore. You're a racist. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. How many times, and I'll use me as an example, can you call me Uncle Tom before it finally loses its sting? I'll be honest with you, it's never hurt me. I've never cared. But how many times can you be called that before you finally go, look, enough is enough? It doesn't even bother me. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't impact me at all. Say whatever you want. I was fortunate. I got advice very early on from a very good friend of mine. And he said to me, you got to be tough. He says, you are. It's in your nature. But he says, I'm telling you right now, you have to make a decision that you are not going to worry about what people say or what. And he goes, the quicker you're able to do that and have it be real, register with you. Not say it and it just be words, but mean it. He goes, the more likely you are to be successful at what you do. He said, because if you don't do that, you're going to always have this soft spot and it's going to be poked at until the left gets you. And so I said to myself then and there, I won't be bothered by that. I would read comments and fire back, but inside of me, I'd be like, man, I can't believe you folks can't see what that I'm right on this. I would want to rationalize. People ask me now, why do you fire back so hard to the left? I go, because I can't stand them. When they come at me in a particular way, I don't have a soft spot in my heart for any of them with respect to that, because they're so wrong, and they won't even look. I've said to many of these leftists, if you want to have a discussion with me about my views, I'm happy to do that. But when the first part of your message is, use Uncle Tom, sell out, MF, black, this, that, it was tool of the white man, here's what I don't like about you. Okay, so you want to have a discussion, huh? All right, then. You blankety blank, 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 piece of crap, blankety blank, blank, blank. How about that? And then, the very first thing they tell me, why you got to be so mean and mean-spirited? And I go, well, let's just go back and review what you said about me. I had this very same discussion with a guy, calls me an Uncle Tom, tool of the white man, blah, the normal stuff. And so I told him, I said, you're the disingenuous piece of crap who works for a white guy, goes there kissing butt by day, and then goes home and plays, Uncle Tom man by night. And I didn't say that, but that's essentially it. I go, you get out in public and you smile in white people's faces. You act like you don't like them, and you do. And then you go home and try to play militant to all your ethnocentric racist friends and family, who, by the way, look at you like you're a clown anyway, because they know you. Guy's got African art all over his avatar. He's Mr. Africa. Doesn't know jack about Africa. Anyway, and then have the nerve to say, I'm the one selling out. Look, I treat people the same way. I don't care who you are. I treat you the same identical way, regardless of color, regardless of gender, you name it. I treat you the same. But I'm looking at these clowns, and they're the distractions from what we should be talking about. Even Jimmy Carter came out, and Jimmy Carter said, look, I haven't seen anything close to this in how the media treats a president. Nothing close. This is, he didn't say this, but this is what he was saying. It is intolerable what you guys are doing to this man. It's intolerable. You should be ashamed of yourselves. That's what Jimmy Carter's saying. And this is a guy that's got no skin in the game. In fact, Jimmy Carter's built his reputation on being, Habitat for Humanity and all this, and the left now love him. And even he is finally saying, you know what? This is beyond the pale. The fact that Carter recognizes this and is willing to come out publicly and say this. Look, we don't need Carter to come out and tell us what we already know. It just reinforces the point that even a hardcore leftist like him, who watched what happened with Barack Obama, where everything was wine and roses, and then he sees the way Donald Trump gets treated, and he says, look, I was president. I understand fair and unfair, but this is worse than anything, speaks volumes. I want to talk more about this Frederica Wilson story, because there's a lot more to it than you know, and I'll explain it with Joy Reid's clip.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.